Alright, one, I hate this t-shirt, but my sister got it for me, and that doesn't matter because I still hate it. Why do I hate it? Yeah, but I'm out of laundry, so I don't really have any other shirts to wear. Two, I just got back from my third showing of Pacific Rim. The first time I saw it in 2D. Second time I saw it, regular 3D. And this time I just got out of an IMAX showing 3D. I wanted to see IMAX 2D, but they don't have showings for 2D IMAX anywhere. But the 3D was pretty incredible. And I must say, having seen it a third time, I rarely see movies 3 times in theaters. So that's saying something. It's easily probably my favorite movie ever of all time. I love everything about it. So, like, I can go into detail about how much I enjoy this movie. Everything about it is just amazing. Yeah, I still intend to make a spoiler talk video where I just talk about the whole thing, and that would actually probably be pretty well produced. I'd do it on like my nice camera and actually edit it. But yeah, okay, and 3, I am currently drinking Angry Orchard hard cider. If you're a fan of cider, it's pretty much the best one. And 4, that preview I showed you guys yesterday, I put it up on my Facebook page in pretty much its final form. I'd say it's probably about 90% done, not including color correction. I still might mess with the particles a little bit. I might mess with a few things, but for the most part, it's all there. And so you can go check that out on my Facebook page. I'll put a link in the description for that. You can go see the full, like, straight from the render queue preview for that. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, is that shot. So pause this video, go watch that a few times, back to back, come back, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to pause to get my breath. Alright, so that shot was probably single-handedly the most complex shot I've ever worked on, and like I said, there's still like 12, 13 others just like that one that I've still got to do, although this one in particular was really complicated because of how I decided to shoot it. And sorry, I don't mean to tap the mic for you guys, hopefully I don't blow out your speakers, but basically how I shot that was one take. I didn't get a clean plate. I did a forward move. I was literally just holding the camera, handheld, and as I moved forward, so it was a motion like, you know, just like carrying the camera forward, and no dolly, no physical stuff like that, because I was shooting at 5K resolution. That's massive. It's literally like 2.5 times larger than 1080p dimensionally. So I mean, don't even get me started. So large that I was able to stabilize it, and I shot it really wide. I'm able to stabilize it, and so it's cropped in significantly, but it's so smooth, silky smooth, that you don't need a dolly, and I was able to get a nice shot like that. Warp stabilizer, especially the new Warp Stabilizer CC, where you can delete points and whatnot, and you can actually exclude 3D movement, and so it got it stabilized, but the downside was that I do not have a clean plate. That is the downside to having a camera move, is that it's really hard to have a clean plate unless you have some sort of camera control system that can repeat the move over and over again perfectly within millimeters of precision, or even less than that. You're not going to get a clean plate. So the method that I use, which I'm pretty sure is how the industry does it, I don't really know to be honest, but it works, is projection mapping, which is basically you recreate all your texture or all the geometry in 3D space, and then you project a texture onto that. And then voila, you have your clean plate. You can move it, you retrack it into your scene. This is assuming that you've tracked your scene, so you actually can match your camera movement in a digital space. So I was able to take that and paint Nizette out. That's her character's name is Nizette. Her real name is Evelina Berry. Check her channel out. She does fashion videos. Right up my alley. No, she's great. And so then, once I get that done, what made that difficult for this shot was the fact that it's all trees and bushes, and you can't exactly make geometry that easily matches that because So what I did was I actually did that all in After Effects. I created several planes. I have obviously the ground plane, then I have several planes on either side of her heading back. And so I was able to project the geometry onto those planes. So like one plane would catch a little bit, the next one would catch a little bit more, and the next one would catch even more than that. And so then I was able to do that. And I have a plane for the back, then a plane for like the mountains. All that gets projected, so you get all the proper parallax. And it looks solid. She's not in the shot, but yet she technically is in the shot. It works well. And so after doing that, I brought that into 3ds Max, did the fume effect simulation, and how do I describe this? It was, in the movies what they did, they used a program called Houdini, and they would first do a cloth simulation where they would simulate cloth, put it through its paces or whatever, move the cloth around, and then they would use the 3D object of the cloth to emit smoke. And that's how they get the very cloth-like looking smoke in the movies. What I did was just make it really turbulent, but not, you don't want to have unnecessary turbulence. You need to have it kind of be natural and real. So I have a couple different emitters spinning, emitting smoke at certain speeds, and just moving. And fortunately, the shots are, short enough, quick enough that just having a little bit of that actually sells the shot just fine. You don't notice that it's not a cloth simulation, but I think it works. And so what I did for that shot is she's actually fighting against two Aurors. Without spoiling much of the video, basically, she's overwhelmed. She cannot take. She was able to battle one Auror just fine, but now she can't handle two, so she has to get out of there. And so that's when she throws up a shield, blocks one shot from one guy, and she knows she's going to get hit by the other guy in that shot. So as she throws up the shield, she spins and turns into smoke, and the spell goes right through her. And she's only half smoke. Like the bottom half of her body is not smoke yet, but yet it quickly turns into smoke as the spell goes through it. That wasn't as obvious as I hoped it would be. I'm still working on getting good environmental reactions through Fume Effects, which is the plugin I use in 3ds Max. I actually had a physical object fly through at the moment I wanted it to, and the smoke reacts. If you go through frame by frame, the smoke actually parts and then gets sucked in as the pressure drops, and because that's laminar flow. That's fluid stuff. Doesn't matter. I got good interaction with the smoke, but it was too quick. If I was to redo it again, I'd do it differently, but it's not worth it. What I got looks great, so it's satisfactory for my needs. So basically, she turns into smoke, and then it's like panics, so she flies along the ground a little bit and then flies up and away. That's another thing that I've learned from this shot, is that it's really good to have smoke coming towards the camera, not so much having it literally directly away from the camera, because you're obscuring what you're emitting by what you just emitted. Like, it's really hard to tell in that shot, but she flies about 40 feet backwards and then flies upwards. And that's just the nature of how I shot it. I couldn't really do much with it because that was how I intended to have it done. Otherwise, I would have had her fly upwards, but then she's out of the shot right away, and that's no fun. You want to see more smoke stuff. So that was that. That shot was also some of the first dev I've done on how I want the shield to look, because I feel like all of the magic hits, the shields, the sparks, all that's going to be pretty straightforward, but I need to have some sort of system in place to actually have it like a pipeline, so to speak. And so I think that might be what I end up going with for the shields, and it'll just look better from here on out. Yeah, but the smoke, I'm going to pause and collect my thoughts. So my method for how I actually model and simulate the smoke is not complicated. It's an iterative process. What I do is I basically run a low-quality simulation that simulates quickly and goes through it so I could actually see the motion that I'm getting. And how I do that, how Fume Effects works is it works in basically voxels. They're called voxels. Imagine a Minecraft field or a giant Minecraft cube made of normal cubes. that would be my simulation area. And to increase the resolution of your simulation, you basically make those cubes smaller, and each one of those cubes contains all kinds of information for your simulation, such as velocity, temperature, and various other data inputs, and that's where you get. So the more of those cubes you can fit into a space, the higher resolution it will be. However, because it's cubic, the smaller down you get, it goes up in size pretty quick. So you have to optimize to get, okay, where is a good enough resolution versus speed? And that's your trade-off. So, and right now I'm looking at like 1 to 2 hour simulations for my spacing. But there's a really cool feature that FumeFX has called wavelet turbulence. And what that basically does is it takes your simulation and then it subdivides each one of those little voxels into smaller voxels. And so instead of, like, say, 10 cubes, I suddenly have, if you're divided by 2, 10, 10, 10. Each one is now there's 4. I don't want to do the math right now and embarrass myself in case I get it wrong, but I'm generally all right at math, but still. You subdivide each voxel and get higher resolution, but you retain a lot of that information that was originally there, such as, you know, velocity, temperature, all that stuff. So you get the same motion, you just get higher detail. And it's both a blessing and a downside to wavelet turbulence. You won't get more accurate motion. You'll still get low resolution motion, but you'll get super high resolution detail. And that's what I've been doing. And it looks great in my opinion because the motion looks sweet, but I still get the detail. And that's just, you do one simulation, you take that simulation, and then do another simulation on top of that, and then you render that out. And then you take that into my compositing program, which was After Effects for me, and then I changed the colors a little bit. I made the smoke for her a little bit burgundy. Straight out of 3ds Max, it's actually kind of grayish white. So I darken it, make it a little pinkish, and it looks good, in my opinion. I'm excited to attack the other 12 FumeFX shots, and that's not even including the explosions. There's a few explosions in this piece. Pretty epic explosions. Like 240 frames per second slow motion explosions. I'll figure it out somehow. I don't even know. But this video has gotten too long, so my apologies. I will just continue more later. Jordan, you mentioned talking about problem solving. I kind of talked about that. I mean, that's kind of the theme of what I was talking about, but I could talk about that in more detail. Like, you know, what is a problem? Like, how do you tackle a problem? But that's for another time. This was obviously a very technical-oriented video, but it's all related to a video I published up on my Facebook page. So go ahead and go check that out. There's a link down in the description. I haven't used my Facebook page too much lately, but because I've been focusing on this vlog instead. So go check that out. I post pictures, maybe even an effects test now and then. Who knows? So yeah, I'll see you guys later, and have a good day.